Hello everyone, it's indeed inspiring to see you back again, and we are here in this business analyst series. We are going to help you with step-by-step journey to learn and develop your skills as a business analyst. Here you will learn a lot about how to interact with client, how to capture the user stories, how to document them and produce BRDs and SRS, how you can do the data modeling part, UML modeling, software methodologies, agile, scrum and DevOps, so many and so much things to learn. So I insist you to go through this particular series and get an advantage on business analyst. So business analysis is a discipline that involves identification, understanding, and analysis of business needs and problems. This is the first thing. So let us basically try to work on this part. Identification, understanding, and analysis of business needs and problems. So let us basically discuss on this particular part. So yeah, so here we have a blank presentation and let's work on this. The first thing which is written over here is identification and understanding, and then we have analysis. So three things are written over here. So let us try to have a understanding on these. Okay, so now what do we need to identify, understand, and analyze? So what exactly do we need to do? So there are needs and problems. So let me basically here write BUSINES is business. Okay, so a business, it is a service. Okay, or I basically put a point, demand and service. Okay, so it is demand and supply. Okay, now this demand and supply can be done with the help of some products or with the help of some service. Okay, that is how it can be done. So if somebody wants to start up a business, okay, or existing business want to start up with some new idea, so what exactly do they need to do? They need to work on research. They need to do research basically. So what kind of research do they need to do? They need to identify that what are the challenges and problems which are there in the domain they're working. For example, during COVID times, there was lockdown. So during lockdown, there was a great demand that how the daily vegetables, grocery items, how the daily needs can be fulfilled. So at that particular time, if you see that certain tools, certain things basically got very much popularity. And what were they? One of the simplest tool was Google Form. So if you see that Google Forms got so much, Google Forms and Microsoft Forms, but from Microsoft, if you see Google Forms were more popular. Okay. So they got so popular that each of the vegetable seller, the milk vendor, grocery shop owner, so each of them, what they did, they basically created a Google form, and then they, what they did, they shared across the societies and people who wanted to demand something. They basically, they simply did one thing. They simply started to fill up the form, and next day in the morning or same day in the evening, these particular vendors were sending, with the help of some delivery person, sending those items at home. So what exactly needs to be done? The first thing we need to understand is there would be some problem. Okay, so normally we call it as a burning problem would be there. So that needs to be identified. What next could be their problems, or you can say challenges. Challenges could be there, or there could be a need. There could be some need. Sometimes there are goals and objectives. Okay, goals and objectives as well. So, for example, let's say, let me give you one short example. Now, let's say we talk about MI. So MI, you know, like in mobiles, they became number one. Okay, so if I talk about them, in that particular case, they started to market their product, which was a smartphone, and this smartphone was a mid-range price, with a mid-range price and with very high features. So this was its basically mid-range price and features very high in features. It's a feature phone. So this is what they launched, the MI guys. Okay. Now, what happened when they launched it in on the website of Flipkart? The website was crashed. Okay, it was, I think, 1 minute sale or something, and it got crashed. Why? Because they did not expect, they just expected around 10,000 people. And it was a real big thing for them that so many people actually wanted to hit that particular page in order to see or book that particular phone. So here you can see that there was a time when MI was having almost 62 to 63% of the whole mobile or feature phone market. So they were having this particular, upper hand on this particular area. Now, what happened? Now they know that it was very difficult to gain this particular position, very difficult to gain this particular position. But it is more difficult to remain in this particular situation, to remain in this particular situation. So now it is not a burning problem or challenge, it is a goal. Now it is a goal or objective. So first goal was, okay, to become the best or highest provider of mobile featured phones, and they were able to achieve it. And second thing, basically, if you see now, how they will be able to remain in 62 to 63%, or how will they be able to maintain the kind of profit they are generating of with 60 to 63% market. Now they know that Samsung is there, Apple is there, Oppo, Vivo, like so many brands are there. So they're not going to just sit, because if you see that Samsung also launched their own mobile, a featured phone with the same kind of price. So they knew that no, none of the other competitor is going to just sit this way. They are also going to come up with their own featured mobiles with the same kind of budget. So they did one thing. They thought, if we cannot do vertical, we cannot maintain this vertical level, like in the same domain of featured phones, but we can maintain our profit and we can scale a bit more if we do a horizontal scaling. So what they did, they basically entered into all electronic gadgets. Like in India, I'm specifically talking about. They entered into all other electronic items. Like if you want a toothbrush, they have an electric toothbrush. If you want laptop, they have a laptop. If you have whatever you want, you want a power bank, you want some headphones, you want anything and everything, they have it today, and it is being supplied very well in the market. So they knew that this challenge of basically keeping the same profit level, keeping the same basically ROI, they need to expand now, not vertically, but horizontally. So this was just an example that how basically some burning problems, challenges, needs, goals, and objectives actually are the first thing to be understood. So a business analyst needs to understand this particular part. So this is what we were discussing over here: identification, understanding, and analysis of what? Of business needs and problems. This is the first task a business analyst person needs to do. Moving forward, it is process of evaluating an organization's process, systems, strategies to propose practical solutions for improvement and optimization. Now, the first step is done. Okay, we will again, like as per the definition we are going now. Okay, we will go step by step also. So the first step is done, that identification. Okay, what is the need? So in this particular case, the need is to maintain the same profit level. We cannot go down, we can go up, but we cannot go down. So maintain 60 to 63%, whatever revenue we are generating, we need to maintain that. Okay. Second, market share, we will lose, obviously, like this is already very high, and to go beyond it is a bit unrealistic. Whatever goal you plan needs to be realistic. So going beyond 60 to 63% is a bit unrealistic. So therefore, it is better to basically maintain that particular. So identification and understanding and analyzing. So the discussion which we are doing now, or basically the way I'm explaining, is involving analysis also. Next point I basically highlighted is that to evaluate organizations' processes, systems, strategies to propose practical solution for improvement and optimization. So this is another important part. Okay. Now, normally, if you see that, let me put it here. Yeah. So normally, if you see that the kind of human resources we have in any organization, so some are idea man, some are action man, some are process man. Then you will be able to see there are some who are people man. Okay, so let's have a bit of understanding about it. So idea man, okay, if there is idea man, what that person would do, if you have a problem, you should sit with an idea man. He will come up with very, quickly he'll be coming up with two, three, four, five, 10 ideas. That okay, this is one option. This is second possibility. This is third possibility. This okay. So idea man is basically good for generating ideas, possible set of solutions, doing creative and innovative, bringing up innovative mechanism in the work process. So they are very important and crucial. Okay, whenever some product is being initiated, some new service is being launched, they're very important. Second one, if you see, is action man. Action man is, like idea man brings the idea, but action man says, let's do it, let's try it. So he would actually try to implement, and after implementation, he will see, okay, it was good, it was best, it was not the optimal solution. So he basically believes that we should keep on taking actions and then measure the results. So you will see that there's some people who are action man. Okay, they would immediately get some solution and they'll not discuss much. They'll just tell, okay, this is a solution, this is how we can do, and let's do it. So they are like that. The next one we have is process man. Process. Okay, this process man would be like, let's say you're doing something. Okay, then the process man would come and would ask, okay, did you ask your manager? No, you should ask your manager, because if you won't ask your manager, your work will not be considered. Then he will say, did you follow the guidelines? You didn't follow, then again your work will be discarded. You should follow the guidelines also. Then did you submit the work? You are late, you should not submit now, you are late already. You are late. So process man basically follows all the rules. Okay, all the rules and guidelines. So process man is like that. And then we have people's man. Okay, so people's man is having good HR skills. An HR person must be people's man. So he can listen, he can understand, and he can manage people and team. So that is basically the work of people's man. Okay, now this is what how people are there in an organization, because organization is made up of humans and then technology and other things. Okay, the first thing is humans who work in the organization. So now, if there is a startup, okay, if there is a startup, in case of a startup, if you build a very strong and very concrete process, okay, that we need to follow the process, then probably you may not be able to hit the deal with the client. Okay, if you stick to some very rigid process. So startup doesn't actually prefer a process man. Startups prefer idea man and action man. They prefer more on that, and people man. Okay, they have processes, but they have flexibility. They are more flexible. So they're like, action man will listen to something and will say, yes, let's do it. Okay, so because they need to experiment. So whenever there is some new idea to be implemented, whenever some new project needs to be initiated, and whenever something which is new to be implemented, then more important people are idea man and action man at that particular point of time. But as soon as the work has started, the business is happening every day, then you need process. That time you need process. Along with process, you need systems, you need strategies at that particular time. And another case study I'll give you. Okay, so startups basically, they're more towards idea and action. Okay, everybody knows the case study of Nokia. Okay, what happened to Nokia? When basically they have so much of the customers are have great trust on Nokia. I will say had, and now that kind of trust is not there. They also were able to create a great brand value, and like the anybody anybody's recall value for Nokia mobile was very high. Okay, so if somebody want to suggest battery, okay, Nokia. Then rigid and rough and tough, Nokia. Okay, so this is kind of trust Nokia was having. Now, what happened? Now, whenever these kind of mechanism happen, they were able to see that Android is coming. They were able to see that Android is changing the space, the digital space where mobiles will have applications and things will be done with the help of applications, and laptops, computers, desktops will be little lesser used, but rather people will use mobile for all the operations they are currently doing on their laptops and desktops. So they were able to see this, but process, strategies, and certain systems, they could not basically change their process. They could not basically make a quick decision, and it was too late. So when there is an MNC, so in that particular case, the processes are very rigid, the strategies are very well planned. They are like a very big ship in the ocean. And now if there's a very big ship in the ocean, we understand in order to make a move, the ship needs to start the turn very early. Okay, so early move is required in that particular case. So a business analyst person needs to understand the processes within an organization. And then this understanding the person should have, that what is the level of the organization, how rigid are the processes in that particular organization, and if that process needs to be changed, then how much time and effort it is going to take in order to change that particular process. How much time is it going to take to adapt or to accept new technology and practices within the organization. So this is what a business analyst person needs to understand. So processes, systems, and strategies. Why? Because ultimately, as a business analyst, you have to propose practical solution for improvement and optimization. So Nokia is one of the best example. They made a move. What did they do? Ultimately, they sold themselves to Microsoft. Lastly, they did this. Okay. And Microsoft was already started so late in the domain of mobile, Windows-based operating system on mobile and Windows-based applications. They were so late. And instead of going with Android, or instead of going with, they have their own operating system, MeGos, Nokia went with Windows, Microsoft. So that was another, like the proposed solution was impractical, was not logical enough, and later on, basically, some people took the rights from Microsoft and independently they started to work for the brand Nokia, and they started to use Android. So very clear, we can understand that when we are working with an organization, the first thing is to understand the business goals, the needs, the challenges. That is the first step. And then second thing we need to understand is the processes, systems, and strategies they are actually following now. And we need to map them, whether they are going to give them a success or not, and what changes needs to be there in order to make the improvement. This is something we need to do.
If you like this video, please do share it with your friends and those who need it. And don't forget to press the bell icon and also subscribe to our channel so that you can get all the videos, notifications readily in your account.